everyone. My name is Callie Teagarden. I am coming live out of Sugar Land, Texas tonight. I want to welcome you to this Promptings webinar. I am so excited that you are here to learn more. I learned about Promptings several years ago, actually 14 years ago, hard to believe. I was looking for a simple way to stay in touch with my clients. I wanted to send birthday thank you and holiday cards out to them to stay top of mind, to build better connections, really looking for a way to connect with people. And when I found Promptings, it helped me do just that. But what I didn't expect Promptings to do was to also help me to connect with my purpose and put me on a pathway to prosperity. But before I get ahead of myself tonight, I want to bring on our founder and chief visionary officer, Mr. Cody Bateman, so you can hear directly from him on why he started Promptings and the best way to act on your promptings. So Cody, I'll let you take it away.
Hi, everybody. My name is Cody Bateman. I'm the founder of the Promptings movement. Appreciate you being with us tonight. I want to share with you a couple of stories. One is how this whole thing started in the first place and what our mission is and what we plan to do to change this world of ours by helping millions of people act on their promptings. We hope that you're one of them. So it all started back in 1989. I accepted a job offer. I just graduated from college and accepted a job offer to work for an ad agency in New York City. So when we accepted that job, we packed up all of our belongings. I was newly married at the time, had a little baby girl. We packed up all of our belongings, put it in a U-Haul truck. We were driving this little car of ours in front of the U-Haul truck. And we went over to my mom and dad's house to say bye to the family. So we said our goodbyes. And I remember coming out in the front of my parents' home, and we got into the car and we put little baby Whitney in her car seat, and Jody got into the passenger side, and I went to get into the car. And as I went to get in, I looked over in a lot adjacent to my parents' home. My older brother, Chris, was moving some vehicles around in this lot. And at that moment, I had what I call a prompting, an intuitive thought that I needed to stop what I was doing, go over to my brother, give him a hug, tell him I love him, and say goodbye. That was the prompting. And we were in a hurry. There were people waiting for us. There was another couple that was moving with us that was driving the U-Haul truck. And we all needed to leave. And so what do you think happened? I ignored the prompting. I remember getting in the car and driving away, and I honked and waved at my brother as we drove off, and he waved back at me. I'll never forget the look on his face. And we drove away, and we drove all the way across the country, moved into our new home in New York City area. And a couple of months went by and everything was going well until one night I got a phone call about 2:00 in the morning. And my mother was on the other end of that line, and she tearfully let me know that my brother Chris had just been killed in an accident. Now, that was devastating news. In fact, I remember when I got that news, the first thing I thought of is that I had this prompting that I needed to say bye to him, and I ignored it. So at that very moment, I made a promise to my brother Chris, to myself and to my brother Chris. I said to him, I said, I'm sorry, brother, that I ignored that prompting. And I promise you that when I have promptings to reach out in kindness to others, I will act. And I'll do all I can to help as many people as I can do the same thing. That was in 1989. Excuse me. That's when this whole thing started. That was the dream that was put into my mind at that moment. And everything I did from that day forward was to figure out how to deliver the promise. I needed to act on my promptings. I needed to help other people act on their promptings. Now, keep in mind, this is a long time ago. This is in 1989. It was even pre-internet days. We didn't even have the internet back then. So the concept and idea that I had was I had to find a way to help people act on their promptings. And I knew that for myself, the way for me to express myself, my appreciation, my kindness to others, it was a lot easier for me to write those things. Like if I wrote somebody a message in a card, was a lot easier for me to express myself in a card than it was verbally. So I figured early on that whatever I did, it was going to have something to do with greeting cards, because greeting card was a simple way for me to act on a prompting. If I had a prompting to say thank you to somebody, I could quickly send them a card with the words of kindness in them. So I started doing all kinds of things pre-internet days to try to figure out how to do that. You can't even imagine the things that we tried to do, but this thing called the internet came along. And when the internet came along and I saw the possibilities of the internet, the light bulb went on that, man, if there was a way that you could send a real greeting card over the internet. So if I could call up the internet and pick a card and type in a message and click it, and somehow it went over the internet to a printer and the printer would print it and send it for me, man, that would be cool. So we went on a long journey to try to figure out how to do that. We actually pioneered the technology that calls for through the internet for variable print on demand on printers. Nobody had done that before us. And we did that back in 2001 and 2001 and 2. So we finally had created what I call a mechanism. We created a mechanism to help people act on their promptings. And what it was is the mechanism allowed me as a person to go onto the internet, onto the mechanism, and choose a greeting card and be able to type a message into the greeting card and then put in an address for that person and push the send button. And then over the internet, it would go to our printers. We would stuff it, stamp it, and mail it out for you. And we started doing this way back in 2002 was when we first started doing this over the internet. Nobody had done it before. So it was a powerful mechanism. In fact, once we had the mechanism to do this, I wanted to start changing my habits and other people's habits. The habit I wanted to create was I sent cards to people every single day. So one of the habits that I had was is that the first person I thought of, I would send a card to. And I'm going to share a story about this card right here. So I got up one morning and my habit was first person that comes to mind. The first person that came to mind that day was a lady by the name of Pat Chase. She does the music at the church I went to. So I went to my mechanism that we had created. We had about, I don't know, maybe 100 saved greeting cards in there. And this was one of them. And it says beauty on the front. So I picked this card. It says beauty on the front. And inside it said things are beautiful if you love them. So I want you to watch the words that I wrote in this card to Pat Chase, who does the music at the church. So right from my computer over the internet, I typed these words. I said, Pat, just a quick note to let you know, I appreciate what you do for us at the church. You make music beautiful, and I'm a better person for it. Your friend, Cody. That's simple. And I clicked the send button and sent it off to her. Now, I want to explain to you what happened when she received the card. A couple of weeks went by and I show up at church and she comes up to me and says, Cody, first of all, I want to thank you for this card you sent me. And I want to tell you what happened the day I received it. She says, I got up in the morning and I went into the front room of my house. I was going to pick up the receiver of the telephone, my intent was to call the leader of the church to let him know that I was no longer going to do the music at the church. She said, I don't remember a time when somebody thanked me for the service I provided. The only thing I got were complaints as to why I didn't play this music or that music. She says, and I was really frustrated. And so I was about to quit. She said, but something told me to go get the mail first. Now we know that that's called a prompting. She was prompted to go get the mail first. So she did. She hung up the receiver of the phone, did not make the phone call. She went out to her mailbox. The only piece of mail on a Thursday morning was this card. She opened up the envelope from her mailbox, read this card that you're looking at. She says, Cody, I want you to know that I was at my mailbox and I openly wept, she said. And I want you to know that when I went back in the house, I did not place the phone call. And I'm not going to place the phone call. I will keep doing the music of the church, and I will never, ever, ever forget you for how you made me feel with that card. Thank you very much. That's the power of acting on promptings. We've come a long ways since then. Our job now is to help millions of people act on their promptings every single day. A big thing that we tell people is to send heartfelt messages of kindness, just like the story I just shared with you. We have thousands of people all over the world that are doing this. They're sending heartfelt messages of kindness to people. And you don't think that can change the world? It's changing the world. Millions of promptings have been acted upon, and we're just barely getting started. But here's the beauty of it. When you send these messages of kindness, there's amazing positive energy that comes back to you, the sender. And when that energy comes back to you, the sender, it really taps into who you are and what you're meant to do as a person. It's an amazing feeling to have. All you got to do is send kindness to people every day. It creates appreciation energy, and you begin to appreciate who you are as a human being. So we ended up creating a mechanism that really connects you with two key things. And we call that the promptings process. The promptings process allows you to connect with people on the right side of the screen and with purpose on the left side of the screen. And that's what this is. So when you send out kindness to others, you're connecting with people all the time. You know, we've become the best relationship marketing tool in the world today because of this. Because a lot of businesses use us to follow up with their clients or customers. But what we teach is to send heartfelt messages to them. There's system cards that will do it automatically too. But the best way to create genuine human connection is these heartfelt messages. So over the years, we became the best relationship marketing tool on the planet because we had a way for you to act on promptings and appreciate people that you did business with. So that's just one example of how this promptings process connects you with people. But guess what? It also connects you with purpose, because that energy is coming back to you as a person. It ignites your inner voice that tells you who you are as a person, that connects you with your purpose. Okay, it brings up that whole new energy of who you are as a person. And we have since created all kinds of tools and different things to help you to nourish that inner voice, to nourish those inner promptings. Some of the best personal development programs on the market today come from promptings, because we have ways to teach you to use this process, this mechanism, to initiate positive law of attraction principles in your life. It's an amazing thing. So if you utilize this, if you use the mechanism to reach out to others, you can use the same mechanism to reach to yourself. What it does is creates a pathway to prosperity for you. That's where we've come. We started it just to send cards to people, but it ended up being what you have on this screen today. Now, I'm going to turn the time back to our host. We have numerous people that are going to share their stories with you tonight of how the mechanism and how the process has transformed life. Thank you for spending the time with me tonight, and you're in good hands with our host and with some amazing people that act on their promptings every day. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Cody. So glad that you were on here tonight to share your story and why you started Promptings. As I mentioned in my story, right, this company really, by sending out those cards, connecting to my clients, I also started using the system personally to build better relationships personally. I started sending birthday cards that has now grown into something that I love to do and celebrating others. By doing all that, it has helped me connect with my purpose. That was the surprise in all of it, and helped me put me on that pathway to prosperity. When we're done tonight, I'm going to have you get back with the person that invited you onto this webinar. I want them to take you to their Promptings website. I'm going to show you mine real quick, but you need to go to theirs, because as Cody said, here at Promptings, we're all about acting on your promptings, appreciating others, and attracting prosperity. Promptings are those intuitive thoughts that call on you to take positive action and promptings will create genuine human connection and guide you to your personal genius. Now, as Cody mentioned, the best way to act on your promptings is through heartfelt messages and through our promptings mechanism. Our promptings mechanism is powered by send out cards. And I've got a couple guests on here tonight with me to share their stories using promptings, using the promptings mechanism to build better relationships. The first guest I have is Kristi Lee. I met Kristi several years ago. I've seen her in Salt Lake. We spent time in Phoenix. She is an amazing woman, an amazing mom, an amazing business owner. So Kristi, I know you have a story that you would like to share tonight with everyone. So I'm going to let you take it away.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me on the call. I'm so excited to be here with you and Craig. My story is several years ago, I was serving on the board of directors for the FBI Citizens Academy Alumni Association. And we had a need, just like lots of organizations do, to reach out to our members and just have better connections with them. And so I had suggested, well, why don't we, instead of handwriting all of these cards, why don't we use send out cards? And because I had been in touch sending cards with the board for birthdays and holidays, etc., many of them, 10 of them out of the 12, were all for it. Slam dunk, no brainer. You've got my vote. Let's do this. But there were 2 remaining board members that were concerned it was a conflict of interest. And I said, well, we can definitely put the account under somebody else, so it's not even going to be under me directly. I just think we have to look at how we're going to be better managing our time as volunteers, and we all are busy with our regular day jobs. And so this one person said, I will volunteer to get all of the cards done. I will print them out on my printer at home, and I will get all the birthday cards done, the welcome as a new member, all of the cards. Well, 1 week went by, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, no cards have been sent out at all. And that's very typical of organizations. We have great intentions on wanting to save the organization money, be mindful of the good stewardship. But intentions have to be met with action. And in this case, like many other organizations, the person just didn't end up having time. Then she ended up having a health issue, and she ended up getting cancer. And so now she's having to go through surgery and treatments, etc. And so definitely no cards were being sent out. So now we're, 4, 5, 6 months into the year, and we still don't have a solution. And so I knew she was just vehemently opposed to having us have a send out cards account. But I just reached out. I saw that this was in March of 2020, right as COVID was starting to come onto the scene. She had taken a trip to Disneyland with her husband and kids, and they had great pictures of them just having fun. And so I sent her this 3-panel card, and just all pictures on the inside. And on the flap, it says, Dear Mara, may God bless you with a quick and complete recovery and watch over you with his protection. I saw these happy memories with your beautiful family on your Facebook page and thought they'd bring a smile to your face as you're recovering from your surgery and treatments. And just be well and be blessed. And so I sent that to her, not expecting anything. I already knew she was not open to send out cards, but from a human standpoint, from just a personal connection standpoint, I just wanted her to know I was, rooting for her, health to turn around. And then I sent her a second card, again, a 3-panel card, really no words on it at all, no personal message from me. I just found these beautiful pictures. I knew that she is a believer. So I just found all of these different scriptures about healing and hope. And no message on any of the 3 panels at all. And I sent that off to her. And she had thanked me for that. And a couple weeks later, all of a sudden I got an email that this person created an account on her own So she found my link. She went in and created a personal account, and she sent me a text message. And the text message just says, hi, Kristi, I hope you're doing wonderful. I just got a membership for send out cards. I hope you get the credit. Wanted to ask you what type of paper you used, etc., for the beautiful cards you sent me. And here's the thing. She is the chief strategist for Barbara Barrett. And at the time, Barbara Barrett was the secretary of the U.S. Army, the United States Army. And so she was interested in utilizing our send out cards process for her boss's holiday cards, because she was the one that was having to get, it was close to 700 cards every holiday. She was responsible for getting those cards out. And so I just jumped in with both feet with her and just said, of course I can help you with that. And so for the last 3 years in a row, I've been helping her every holiday season get her boss's cards out to her entire database, and, US, international, etc. And I just wanted to share that story because a lot of times, organizations and the people within those organizations are having the right intention of, like I said, saving the organization money, but in reality, they're not reaching out to their members, and they're missing a lot of things, like welcoming somebody to the organization. Thank you for becoming a new member. Have a happy birthday, happy holiday. We're sorry to hear about you losing your loved one. And all the different reasons why we can teach somebody to reach out to their organizations, including churches, nonprofits, all the different places that have memberships that are running on, a tighter budget, but also at the same time wondering, how in the world am I going to actually raise money for my organization and get the support from our members? And it's kind of like the chicken or the egg thing. How do I get financial support from our members, but then how do I develop relationships, right? So relationships always come first. And then naturally, when you build the relationships and we're acting on our promptings and we're sending people cards just in kindness and not expecting anything back, that's when they can feel that energy, and they naturally then want to figure out how they can financially support the organization and grow. So that's really a quick story that I wanted to share on how I utilized cards to just win over somebody that was completely opposed to us using send out cards. And oh, by the way, we did end up getting an account for our FBI Citizens Academy, and we were sending out cards every year. So
I love that. There's so many great nuggets in that story, right? For any type of business person as well. Even if someone says no, if you treat people well, if you think about it, you stay in touch, you never know when something shifts for them, right? And so many business people are like, well, they didn't do business with me, I'm not going to stay in touch. Life is about connection and relationships. It's not about immediate sales. We all love it, but I think that was powerful, right?
And the thing is, it's so easy to, and it's so easy to be on the defensive, right? When somebody's coming after you and saying, oh, it's a conflict of interest and this and that and the other, and we can save so much money if we do this and I do it myself. And you can easily take offense with that, right? And I chose not to. I always choose to go, you know what? That's fine. You don't have to do that at all. I fully support you as long as it's the actual action is getting done. As long as we're reaching out to the organization and the members, but more times than not, it doesn't happen. So you just have to hang in there. If you're coming up against opposition, just love on people and let them feel what that feels like. And then I think it wins people over.
I love that for so many reasons. And yes, nonprofits, you donate money. When you receive that thank you, you want to give more to them. So Kristi, thanks so much for coming on tonight.
You're welcome.
your story. I really appreciate it. The
Thank
second
you.
guest I have on tonight is Craig Anderton. I met Craig, I guess it was earlier this year, the first time we met, Craig. And I know that you have been familiar with promptings and send out cards for a while. And back in the fall, you started a new insurance business and have incorporated promptings and send out cards into that business. And I would love for you to share that. But I think before we get there, you're also going to share how you use promptings and the promptings mechanism in your personal life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity and the honor to be here and help others see what I see. And I'm grateful to be on here with Kristi as well. But before I start my stuff, I just want to mention, first of all, we are built, I believe that we are built as human beings to gain more happiness out of giving to others. We've heard that term before, giving more than we receive. And but that takes practice. But as we do that, there is something that transfers that energy that really helps us to become happier individuals, and especially as we appreciate and love others, as Kristi was saying. So my first thing that I did, and we can go to that slide there, one day I was perusing Facebook, which I don't do regularly, but I happened to see our friend here, Elise, and she was leaving her teaching job, and it was kind of a shock to us. But we understood why. There were certain circumstances. She recently got married. She has 3 kids, and so I was really excited to see that. And so as I'm trying to practice what Cody says, is to listen to the promptings and act on those. And it does take practice, and it takes a little bit of listening, but it's not that hard. But as I was doing that, I started up a card, found this card, we're rooting for you. Then I put some words in here, just congratulating her. She also had taught 3 of our children. And I told her we're so grateful for that, especially our last child, who had some struggles in school a little bit more than the others. But this is the response that so I didn't tell my wife. This is the funny part of the story. I forgot to tell my wife that I sent the card. I get excited about this. I send it out, and then you see it there at the bottom. It says Craig and Aaron. So she's assuming that probably it's coming from my wife. So we can go to the next slide. And this is what she said. So obviously she likes a lot of exclamation points, but sister, I opened my mailbox and the most amazing and thought out card was in the mail. You make me feel so loved and appreciated. Thank you. From my whole heart, I thank you. I am keeping the letter forever. I love your family. Thanks for loving me. So nice. Anyway, my wife said, hey, did you send her a card? I said, yeah. And anyway, long story short, she fessed up that it was me that actually sent the card, but my wife felt the same thing. And my wife is going through school right now, and she's a little bit more stressed than I am at times. But the main thing is that there was a connection there, that we felt such joy in helping her to have happiness, and also something that, can you imagine somebody keeping a card forever? Now, that might not be the case if she goes through a couple more moves, but she will probably keep that for a while. And that's a pretty neat thing that will continue to live on. So the next thing I want to talk about is my business. And Callie mentioned that I started my insurance business last fall. Actually, I started it 7 years ago, almost 8 years ago. And over these 8 years, I've been going, how can I stay in touch with my clients? And, kind of a high touch situation, and them remember me, because, I would lose clients from time to time or whatever. But it came to me that I had heard about send out cards years prior. And anyway, long story short, I created this campaign, what's called a campaign, that I send out 6 cards to people after they come on with me in my insurance business. So they become my client, and then I set this in motion. I find their name and I hit the campaign and I click it and I send it. And now it's automated for the rest of the year or 12 months. And you'll see that the last one there, it says happy anniversary. And that's actually the anniversary, that the time that they got on with me. But I didn't know how amazing this would be until a few months later. And then I started getting referrals. I also use this every time I get on the phone with one of my clients. I send out a thank you card every single time. In fact, I've read the book, The Power of Human Connection by Cody Bateman since I started this. And I didn't realize just how much power there was in appreciating others and to stay in touch with them. And so the next slide, so the very first card I send out is the thank you card after I close the sale. And I just basically thank them for allowing me to assist them with their insurance, and it's Medicare that I do. But it also reminds them of what to do and what not to do, because there's certain processes. And so this is a good physical reminder of them to, hey, keep your previous policy until you have your new policy. So this has been an amazing tool to help me in my business. That this is all I do, is I spend money on marketing through this and using this tool. And I'm so grateful for this tool. And I wish I had been using it years and years ago when I started, my insurance business. But I'm grateful that it started now, that I started this last fall, and it's really helped me. And again, I'm grateful to be a part of this company.
Awesome for sharing. And yes, I did mess that up. You started your insurance business several years ago. You'd heard about us, but over the last year. And I know that you have been amazed from our pre-conversation, just the amount of referrals now coming through, just reaching out and staying in touch. And you said, especially with your market, right? A tangible touch. Not that we don't all love a tangible touch, though, the power of that and staying in touch.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Craig, thank you so much for being here and sharing your stories tonight. To close, I want to share with everyone how you can get started with Promptings. We've got several different ways. If you've never sent a card on our system, let me recommend the Promptings Mechanism 10 card challenge. This is 10 cards for $20 over the next 20 days, right? It's an amazing way to reach out to people, pick 10 people that you know, personally, professionally, and just reach out to them. Say thank you, say hello, say I appreciate you, tell them they matter. And I challenge you to take this challenge. It's amazing, and we're getting amazing results and having tons of people join us through that 10 card challenge. Now, if you've done the 10 card challenge or you're like, I need more, let me recommend our Promptings Mechanism Heartfelt Prompting Cards. We have a $37 a month subscription. It gives you 20 cards, stamps included, anywhere in the world, and a discount off of our gifts. We also have our 97 unlimited heartfelt prompting cards. Those are those unique cards like Craig shared as his first card, or the cards that Kristi shared. Those are unique, going to one person. $97 a month, our biggest discount on gifts. And no matter if you send 1, 3, 5, 7, 10 of those a day, they are included. There is no better deal out there than that. We also have options for system cards. We treat those a little different. We have card packages. You can ask the person who invited you onto that. Or if you want to go all in, you're looking for a great personal development, personal growth, professional professional way to get started, looking at that personal development, looking at personal growth, let me recommend our Promptings process package. This package is a $1,500 value. You can get it for $497 and then $97 per month thereafter. This package includes your very first month of the unlimited heartfelt prompting cards. It includes 100 system cards to get you started. It gives you our quick connect, 2 hours of our virtual assistant service to help get everything set up for you. Contacts, cards, right? Those system cards, kind of like they can do a multiple touch campaign like Craig just showed you. It also gives you 3 tickets to every one of our prompting seminars. Our next one is coming up in 10 days. So you can come and bring 2 people with you. Amazing, amazing seminar to connect you into promptings. It gives you a personal coach. It also gives you our relationship marketing training course. So what I wanted you to do is get back with the person who invited you on. They can help you figure out what's best for your needs. And I would be amiss if I didn't. Here at Promptings, we also have an affiliate opportunity. If you are interested in that, you already think of people that you could share this with and like to make money by sharing, they can answer questions on that. So please get back with the person who invited you on this webinar, get your questions answered, and get started today. Please let me be the very first person to welcome you to Promptings. Thanks, everyone. Have a great night. Bye.